What is up, you guys? Welcome to part 2 of my two-part guitar story slash build project thing. If you have not yet seen part 1, I urge you to do that. The link is in the description down below. Maybe watch it. It's a little bit long, but it'll put this video in perspective for you. So I'm going to be showing you some pictures with my voice over top, talking about stuff that I did, what I wanted, and how I brought this guitar back to life, and my feelings about it, and this and that. So here we go. So the first thing I would like to do is just remind everyone what the guitar looks like out of the factory when you buy it in the store, or if you bought it online or something like that. This is completely stock, straight from BC Rich, and this is what it looked like when I purchased it. This guitar is not mine. It is one that I found on Google. However, it is the same model and the same color, and it is completely identical. This is, of course, the condition that I traded it in, and it was kind of the condition I was hoping to receive it back in, although this is not the case. This is the condition that I received the guitar in. It's disappointing still to look at, even though it does not look like that now, but it's still pretty disappointing. As you can see, it is just covered in filth. Most of that is dust, and that will come off, sure. But what you can see is it's actually missing a mounting ring for the pickup. One can only assume that's the pickup that went bad, because there are signs of him trying to fix it. What you can't really see from the photo, well, a little bit you can toward the bridge pickup, but all of the screws were rusted out. The knobs, which you can't see underneath, but they were all rusted out. The switch would not switch either way because it was so rusted or damaged. And there's a really sweet Roadrunner record sticker right on it that has been on it for years, that he tells me. And this is just a lovely close-up of all the things I was talking about. All the rusted out screws on the bridge and the pickup screws, and the magnets on the pickups are actually rusted, and the screws over on top, which is, I mean, probably why they don't work. The frets are disgusting, and everything on it is just pretty gross and disgusting. This is the case before I cleaned it. Just matted and filled with dander and pet hair and probably human hair, and I was really concerned that it might have mites in it, or bed bugs, if you will. That actually does happen a lot. Bugs can get in the case real easily because, I mean, the interior simulates hair, so it's a really great place for bugs to hang out, but luckily there was nothing like that. I vacuumed it very hard, brushed it with a wire brush like you would a dog, then vacuumed it again, and then I sprayed it with Febreze. Now, if you ask me, I think this baby turned out looking brand new. She looks right as pie. I am going to get a new case for it, just for cosmetic reasons. I want a coffin case. I think that would be super badass for it. But this case is still valuable. I don't know if I'm going to keep it or not. Some people have told me, make sure you keep the original case, make sure you keep the original parts because it'll be worth money. But honestly, I don't care about what's worth money. Like, I'll never sell this guitar, so I definitely want to get what I like. Here is some delicious DNA from our previous owner's fingers. Now, anyone who plays guitar will tell you that this does happen. A little bit of gunk will build up on the neck. But how do you let it get this bad? You have to clean it off every now and then. You have to wipe it off. It's gross. Ugh. Took me a couple passes to get this stuff off. The frets are all but destroyed. I'm not going to refret it because that's just way too much money. That's silly money. but I clean them and polish them the best I can, and honestly, I think they look okay. The guitar is definitely playable. Here we have our lovely headstock, which is um, right on the end of the H in the word rich. There's a little schmutz. I don't know what that could be. It could be melted marshmallows or glue or semen. I don't know. It was very fun. Very fun with this. Another thing that you can sort of see are the points on the widow peak, which is what that's called, the widow's headstock. The points are busted on the one side, you can see, and on the other side, which you can't see, but I assure you it is there. Another thing that you can't really see from the photo is the tuning pegs were so rusty underneath that they would barely turn. So that was the thing. Literally, like, the only salvageable parts on this guitar was the body and the neck, and barely the neck. So step one is, of course, take it apart. I took the neck off, took all the electronics out, the knobs, the pickups, everything, the whole shebang, and all that was left was the body. And what you can't see in this photo, because like, honestly, when I was taking this apart, I was not focused on taking a lot of photos. I took some to document it, but it was more important to get it done. I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't know. I was more focused on it, but as you can see, there's some dirt and some smudge and all that stuff. The bottom, like I said, what you can't see in the photo is the bottom two points are chipped. The bottom point, well, the top in the photo in the corner, in the right hand corner, you can kind of see it's chipped off. But yeah, they were chipped. There were some chips and scratches in the guitar, and the sticker was a nightmare to get off. It was, I don't know if you guys know anything about stickers, but if you leave a sticker on too long, it will get hard, and it will basically harden to whatever surface that you have stuck it to. And I basically had to chip the sticker off, not so much pull it off. Luckily, I found this stuff. I was using Goo Gone, which is very common, but Goo Gone just was not strong enough. And I found this stuff called Goof Off, and believe it or not, it took it off in just a couple passes. So it was really great. So remember those chips in the headstock that I was talking about? Well, I went ahead and sanded those down. I'm not going to be able to bring the wood back, but I definitely did want to make it smoother, make it look nicer than just have a big old chunk chipped off. So I think it looks a lot better. So now that everything on the body is cleaned off and stuff, it's time to start buying new parts. On the top, you can see the old pot. We call them pots. They're called potentiometers, and they're basically the knobs, if you want to layman terms. They're the knobs, and on the top are the old knobs that was made in Korea. They're very cheap, and they were all burnt up and rusted out. And on the bottom are the new knobs, the new American knobs, and they're very big and very nice and very expensive. These are the new electronics. Everything you see in here is brand new. New wires, new pots, new, everything. The new pickups are hooked up, new switch for it, I don't know what they're called, everything, just new everything. I realize my soldering job is not that great. It's not my first time soldering, but it's my first time doing this, so it's a bit weird. and I put it in a different configuration than the factory made it. I think the factory gave it one master tone and two volume knobs, and that is not what I did. I gave it one master volume and two tone controls. Capacitors was the word that I was thinking of. Two new capacitors, and it also has a new input jack, and yeah, just new high quality American stuff. And there she is, all schmurdered out. This is what I wanted. Instead of the chrome everything that came with it from the factory, I wanted to go black. I thought black and that metallic blue would look hot. And I wanted to go factory look. Even though it's a different color, I wanted to stick with the original metal dome knobs, and I didn't want to go crazy. Like, I didn't want to get skulls or anything like that. I wanted it to look like it did come from the factory, just with black hardware instead of chrome. And I found these, and yeah, they look great, I think, and they definitely work great. I plugged it in, and it works. So my soldering job, while maybe not pretty, definitely is effective. And I hope you guys definitely like the look as much as I do. I think it looks fantastic. And it gives this guitar a much needed new lease on life. Here is the new bridge that I bought. It is black, next to the old bridge that I cleaned very thoroughly because I'm going to resell it. It has a couple scratches on it, but it's perfectly fine. But yeah, so it came with the chrome bridge, and I got a black one. It was extremely difficult to find, and when I did find it, it cost me $50. Because if you don't know anything about guitars, a lot of guitars have like the same general parts. Like all Les Pauls, pretty much the same. All Fender Strats, pretty much the same. Very common parts, very common to find, especially if it was made in America. This Warlock was made in Korea, and it came with this extremely weird, like Wilkinson-style floating bridge, and I have never seen another one like it. Like I said, it took me 5 months to find this one, and I can't believe that I found it. It's still not even exactly identical. It is the same size, therefore it fits very well. It's pretty much the same. I'd say it's like 95% completely identical, with just a few cosmetic details. Like, for example, the ridge on the one is a lot harder than the ridge on the chrome, which is more rounded. The screws on the bottom of the bridge are in different places than it is on the chrome one, but they're the same size, so they fit perfectly, and they look similar enough to be what I want the factory look. So I could not be happier. For the tuning pegs, I got these great BC Rich tuning keys, and they're not, what I want to say, they're not labeled as BC Rich, but they did come off of another BC Rich. They came off of a Mockingbird, and I found these online, and they are completely identical to the chrome ones that I had, other than the fact that they don't say BC Rich on the back, which is fine, totally fine. They look great. They're, like I said, I wanted black. They look amazing. They work great. They fit perfectly, same exact size and everything. They're just great, great find, great buy. So, did I want EMGs? Of course I wanted EMGs. What? But you have to be realistic. It's just not in the budget. And it's one of those things where I definitely did not want to spend way more money than the guitar itself is worth. Now, like I said before, worth doesn't matter to me because I'll never sell this guitar. I'll probably die with it. But at the same time, economically, it does not make sense to spend like $400 on a $200 guitar. we all know that. So I got these. They work great. They have the EMG look, solid black, which is exactly what I wanted. And they actually say BC Rich on them. They are from another BC Rich, and I think that's great. I think the fact that it says BC Rich and it's on a BC Rich, thumbs up. Very, very nice. I think it just goes together perfectly, and they sound good. They really do. One thing that you can't really see from the photos is the mounting rings around the pickups were too high, and I had a hard time finding flat ones or like the ones that I wanted. So basically what I did was I just sanded these down. I just pressed them against the belt sander and it sanded right down to the right height. And yeah, sometimes you got to get your hands dirty, do a little bit of modification. I think they turned out great though. And another thing that you can't really see, well, you can see where I screwed up, but the two posts for the bridge, the old ones, the old holes for the posts were too small, and the new posts would not fit in them. So I had to drill out the old holes bigger to fit the new posts. And what you can see in the bottom post right there is my little screw up where I chipped the paint. And isn't that pretty? I would have flipped out, but it's already an old guitar and it has a lot of flaws already. So I thought one more chip would just kind of add to the character. So I really don't care that much. I had to drill out the holes for the knobs as well because the shafts were too thick to fit through the holes. That's what she said. So that's what I had to do, and it turned out fine. He did not give me a tremolo cover when he gave it back to me. Apparently he had lost it or something, so I had to go buy a new one. Not a big deal. Found it at my local, not really local, it was actually far away, but I found it at a guitar shop, so I went and I got that, and it was perfect size. Screw holes matched up and everything. So I would just like to remind everyone what it looked like when I got it 5 months ago at 2 o'clock in the morning. Paid $100 for it, and yeah, this is the condition that I received her in. She took a lot of work. Not a whole lot of money. Believe it or not, I only spent about $180 on it or something. But this is what she looks like now. I would say a hell of an improvement. She just looks great. Real fantastic. Like I said, it doesn't play right now because I do have to take it to my guitar guy who has always been real good to me. And he's going to intonate it for me and set the bridge where it needs to be, and maybe we'll have to adjust the neck a little bit and just make it set it up at standard pitch and make it nice to play. But I mean, I love it. I think it turned out beautifully. And like I said, I paid $100 to get it back, and I probably spent I'd round it up to $200. I probably spent $200 fixing it and restoring it. So $300. I think it was worth it. I really am happy with it. So that's it. I hope you like these two-part video things, and I hope that you think what I did was cool to it and like the project and everything. And if not, then I love you guys a whole bunch, and I'll see you in the next video. If you have any questions or if you want to ask anything or say anything, put it in the comments. I will answer them because, like I said, I think I only have 5 viewers, so I'll make time for you. Don't worry. My busy schedule. Bye.